For too long, the men and women serving this country in uniform have felt like they were second-class citizens. Well, those things are changing. And sadly, what has caused it to change is really bad and really horrible to talk about. But we've seen actual United States military members here on our own soil be attacked and be targeted, and even loss of life. Some National Guard members in Washington, D.C. were attacked. We have seen men and women in uniform serving in other federal agencies attacked. It's a moral decline, moral decay in society. And no one has ever really had the military's back up until now. But what I'm going to talk about and what I'm going to show you this afternoon, this is a complete paradigm shift. The United States military, the men and women in uniform, have just received a real call from above. They have received some help, and it goes all the way to the White House. If you don't know what happened a few days ago in Syria, there were members of the National Guard that were attacked and lost their life. And for about 48 hours, there was no talk of this. There was very little information other than just a little bit of rumors coming out of D.C. A couple of news organizations briefly touched on it. But this afternoon, just a few hours ago, that all changed. And the White House, the Secretary of War, the Secretary of State, and ultimately the President of the United States just sent a message around the world that no men and women protecting the United States, serving in the United States military, would ever be targeted again without major repercussions happening. And we're going to talk about that right now. I'd love to get your opinion on what you think about what is coming out right now. But I served a little while in the Navy, and we always knew our chain of command had our back, but we never knew how much or what it took for a real fire and brimstone response. I'm going to show you this. This is a Truth Social post from the President of the United States. It says, because of ISIS, remember that organization, vicious killing of brave American patriots in Syria right before Christmas, whose souls I welcome home to soil earlier this week in a dignified ceremony, he is hereby announcing the United States is inflicting serious retaliation. And that retaliation came in spades just a few hours ago. The last line there, the government of Syria, led by a man who is working very hard to bring greatness back to Syria and is fully in support. Well, it's not the leadership. It's not their military leadership. It's not their government. It is these little factions, these little guerrilla factions that targeted these United States military members. Says you'll be hurt harder than you have ever been hit before. In any way, attack or threaten the United States of America. Well, now we have footage from the Department of War. They have just released this footage of United States military aircraft taking off in Syria. This is a revenge tour. This is an avenge tour. This is, we're coming to get the people that harmed our men and women. And you can see this here. When planes like this take off in the middle of the night, that looks like an A-10 Warthog there. It is. A-10 Warthog. They were said to be out of service. Well, they just called that bad boy out of retirement, is what it looks like. And if I am a member of this organization that caused this harm, I'm a little worried right now because I believe there will be hell to pay. This is another report coming out right now. I'm going to show you this. This is just the information that's coming as we get it.
Breaking now, we begin tonight with President Trump's response to last week's killing of 2 American service members and a civilian interpreter in Syria. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth calls new airstrikes tonight in Syria a declaration of vengeance against ISIS terrorists. We have Fox team coverage on the breaking story. Trey Yanks is in Tel Aviv with
So they targeted, look at that, 50 ISIS targets in Syria. 50. You can see there the Mediterranean Sea. There's always U.S. military aircraft, United States Navy ships in the Mediterranean Sea. And I'm not sure if there's a carrier strike group there right now, but there is an air base in Cyprus. You can see the island there, Cyprus. There's an air base there in Limassol, another one in Nicosia that the United States military partners with Britain and uses. Damascus, this is a very short flight. This is a very easy run for these people, the United States military, to really exact some revenge here.
Multiple locations across Syria. The targets include ISIS infrastructure and weapons storage sites. Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth tweeted, quote, "This is not the beginning of a war. It is a declaration of vengeance. The United States of America under President Trump's leadership will never hesitate and never relent to defend our people."
I believe that is a very powerful statement from the Secretary of War. It's not a declaration of vengeance. The United States is going to exact some revenge. It's not a beginning of war. It's a declaration of vengeance. That is a powerful statement by the Secretary of War, because what needs to happen is a real response and set a precedence. I believe there are people that are testing the United States. I believe they are testing Donald Trump.
Let me just couch it to you this way. Everyone wants peace. No one wants to return to a war. If Hamas is ever in a position in the future that they can threaten or attack Israel, you're not going to have peace. Okay? You're not going to convince anyone to invest money in Gaza if they believe another war is going to happen in 2 to 3 years.
And that's the problem there, because just south of Syria is the Gaza Strip. You can see it just down here, the very bottom of this area. That's Gaza. That's Israel. That's the Palestinian project, I want to call it. I don't know what your thoughts are on this. If you're a member of the military, I don't know if I remember a president really having our back, really having the I'll say cojones to go after these people. They lost 2 National Guardsmen, or lost 1 National Guardsman in Washington, D.C. to a terror attack. They lost 2 in Syria. I believe the president and Secretary of War said, enough is enough. We've been tested. We've been tested on our home soil. And it's time to make sure that the enemy knows that we're not playing games. If you want to know more about what's going on in the Caribbean, go check out a video that I posted just earlier today discussing exactly what's happening there with the blockades and what the blockades really mean. Thank you for watching. Salute to everyone that's still in uniform. God bless you all. Merry Christmas. Stay strong. And to the families that have family members deployed, I wish you the best. I've been there. I know what it's like to be away from home. I don't know what it's like to have a family member deployed, because I was that family member. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one.